You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons and Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is episode number 420, recorded July 2022, posted October 2023. Femur versus Glaive.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, a Dungeon Master. I use he, him pronouns. And today we are continuing the adventure Horror at Havel's Cross. Why is that a word that I'm having trouble saying today? Unclear, but maybe we'll find that out together. With me are four players. I'm going to introduce them in initiative order because that's right, we are starting out with combat, a thing that we do sometimes on this podcast. First up, it's Monty Ashley.
Hi, I'm Monty Ashley, he, him. I am playing Osgood Emberleaf, a young paladin halfling.
Also joining us, he runs the whole network. We can't keep him away. It's just...
I demanded to be here, even though they didn't want me. Hi, I am playing Buffy, who is a totally legally distinct character, who is a blood hunter, not some sort of undead slayer. And she's just a little petite human who likes to kill demonic things. So in that way, slayer, she's not distinct.
Slayer that is undead is what you're saying.
She is a slayer of bad things. She's Buffy the Bad Thing Slayer.
That's a broad directive.
The whole genre of bad things that it could include.
You heard her laugh. Now meet the player. It's Kathy Campbell. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Tony. I am here to play Davina, an Aasimar cleric, who slowly I'm learning what I do to make things magic.
Level 2.
It's great. Level 2, which is 2 more levels than my own magic skills. So we're learning together.
And last but certainly not least, my favorite Aline Sims. Hi, Aline. Welcome back.
Hi, I play Opal Grimsbane, the human sorcerer. Also very confused about what I'm doing, but this is a game we figure out together. Kind of.
You all do it together. I'll be back later. Let me know how it settles.
All right, thank you, Tony.
Sweet. Level 20. Awesome. Good job, everyone.
That's what
I got a magic sword.
I just wrapped up an adventure for some people at level 20. Not all it's cracked out to be. Ask Dan Morin about that in his next book, Things That Happened in an Adventure Tony wrote. All right. So what have we been up to in horror at Havel's Cross? Well, you have been recruited by a professor. That's right. A professor of archaeology, Professor Winsome Landy, halfling professor. And the situation is that her grad students have written to her about an important find at a dig site and the need for security in excavating that. You have traveled with Professor Winsome Landy, stopped over at the tavern called Havel's Cross to find a brutal murder scene and evidence that perhaps whatever was responsible for that mass murder may have carried some things off into the woods. And what did you do? You went into those woods. In the woods, you found the site of a ancient elven temple. Elven temple being excavated by Professor Winsome Landy's team of graduate students. But all is not well within the temple, for within the temple you have found 2 ghouls. Ghouls are rather unpleasant undead creatures known to feed upon flesh, and they are fast-moving and have horrible claws, and I believe the Blood Hunter got the full download on their kind of poisonous bite and whatnot. So there are 2 ghouls in this little side room of the temple here. You all stand more or less in the vicinity of the doorway into the room. The ghouls have turned to notice you, but Osgood and Buffy, you will go first, then the ghouls, then Davina and Opal. So Osgood, I am looking at you. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm obviously startled and a little bit frightened, but then I firm my jaw up and
curious.
And I rush forward. I'm going to fight these ghouls face to face with my rapier.
Oh, not with your face.
Right.
Good choice.
And I have started off by rolling a number which is ... 20.
Classic Dungeons and Dragons.
That's
A 20 will hit. I will tell you, the ghouls, they do not wear armor. They are kind of minimalist clothing here, really just kind of some rags, perhaps the remnants of what they might have worn in life. And you have no trouble striking a blow at... There's two ghouls here. We're going to call them Northern Ghoul and Southern Ghoul. Osgood, tell me about damage to the Northern Ghoul.
Well, I rolled like poop, so he's getting 5 piercing damage and also 3 radiant damage from a mostly wasted divine smite.
All right. I'm going to write that down as 8 damage total.
That's fine. Radiant damage doesn't do anything against these guys?
It apparently doesn't. I will tell you. I think it's because it's more of they're not that high level.
That's fine.
I think they, yeah. There are some undead that are particularly vulnerable to radiant, and I think these are just not fancy enough to be inclined that way.
And I guess I'll shout over my
I'm
shoulder,
sorry.
"Come on in, guys! The killing's fine."
I like Osgood. It's gonna be a shame when he gets murdered by ghouls. Buffy.
Buffy's coming in and is going to be, let's say, down sort of here, 10 feet away, because Buffy's chosen weapon, the weapon that is given to her kind non-canonically, is
people from California.
Yes, California. How did you know she was from California? Is a glaive, so it has 10-foot reach.
Now, there's two kinds of glaives, right? There's the deadly frisbee glaive, and there's the stick with a
The
blade.
deadly frisbee is not a glaive.
Yeah.
Oh, but don't they call it a glaive?
They do. They're wrong.
Okay.
It's not from
That
Crow.
sounds
tell
so
you, I
much
think-
cooler to have a deadly frisbee.
Now, is this a glaive, a guisarm, a vouls, a glaive vouls, or a glaive guisarm vouls glaive?
It's in Glaven's Clivin Glavin. It's in season 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she gets the cool glaive. That's what it is.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. It's
totally randomly.
from the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's gonna hit that the northernmost ghoul. It's a 22 to hit.
Wow, you all are rolling much
And
better
like
than you did
Monty-
last
Don't
fight with those
jinx it.
goblins.
And like Monty, my damage roll is poop. It's only 4 damage.
You got to start somewhere. Well, I will tell you the good news about 4 damage. It is enough to bloody the Northern Ghoul. So ghouls have not even gone yet. Northern Ghoul bloodied. Southern Ghoul feisty. With that, it is the ghoul's turn. The Northern Ghoul turns to Osgood and is going to consider whether to bite you or slice you. Bite or slice. Bite or slice. Let's start with a bite. Let's update that. Let's start with a slice.
It's like you're ordering food.
I'm going to roll a 21 to hit you with a claw attack, Osgood. I feel pretty good about that.
That
as a dungeon
does
master.
hit my poor level 2 paladin.
Yeah. 7 slashing damage as the ghoul's vicious undead claws rip across, I imagine, maybe your shirt. And it does not feel good. Your blood feels all achy. Not a doctor. I need you to do a DC 10 Constitution save unless you're an undead or an elf, and I'm pretty sure you're a halfling.
I am neither undead nor an elf.
Hey, Tony. I need to back up for a second.
You doing something?
As a blood hunter with the special I know it's a great weapon fighting style. I actually get to re-roll my damage die because I rolled a 1.
Oh.
So Buffy did more damage than she thought. She did 11 damage to that Northern Ghoul. So does that kill that Northern
instead of it does
instead
not.
of 4?
That is not enough, but I will. That Northern Ghoul is in much rougher shape. I will note that.
Sorry about that.
That would have been exciting.
It's one of those things where D&D Beyond knows little. Hey,
it's almost
sidebar
like
for
you're playing
for
new
D&D
characters.
Beyond criticism. Also, by the way, is like it knows that I have that feature, and yet when I roll a 1 damage in D&D Beyond, it doesn't do anything to say, "Hey."
You think a thing should light up? Yeah, it's on you to know that. Yep. We're not yet full video game mode with D&D yet.
Wait for it.
But you're playing a new character.
That's true.
You don't have this burned into your brain yet. So I apologize. Let me just make sure I've got this in my stack here. I did 7 slashing damage to Osgood. I don't know how bad that is to a paladin like Osgood or not. And then Osgood, your blood is burning. You need to make a Constitution saving throw.
I rolled a 14. Is this against poison?
I don't think so, but a 14 is plenty.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think so, but yeah, I imagine you have advantage if it was against poison.
Yes, I am a stout halfling.
All right, it is moot because 14 is plenty. So it like sizzles, like the cut feels real bad. Like you should wash that out, but you are not going to feel any mechanical effects during this fight. Southern Ghoul approaches Buffy and Glaive and attempts to do similar. I have rolled a much less impressive 11 to hit the Blood Hunter.
Oh, the Southern Ghouls with the way that... Anyway, it's a miss.
All right.
And the Southern Girls with the way they miss. Southern Girls with the way they miss.
They knocked me out. No, they don't. They miss.
It just ends right there. The way they miss.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's one of those songs. One of those real short songs. So, got it. Very punk rock. Davina, you are next. You're basically kind of standing in the doorway to this room. I don't know if that's where you want to hang out, casting magic, or if you want to move in closely. There are ghouls attacking your friends.
Yeah. So originally I was going to do the turn undead, but I can only do it once for every long rest. And I have a feeling with how quickly, I mean, they're not quickly dying, but at least they don't, I'm worried about doing it so soon.
Save the big guns.
Yeah. So I think I will move up here, and like if I angle, can I shoot my crossbow at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Okay.
these maps and my grid that I have not lined up with the tiles
I know.
on the temple.
It's
We won't talk about
definitely
that.
not
We're-
bothering me at all.
We are friends here. This is just to give you the idea that there are rooms, that there's a temple. You stand in the doorway, line up a shot on one of the ghouls, and fire a crossbow. You have a shot on either ghoul. Which ghoul are you crossbowing?
Let's do the bloodied one.
All right, Northern Ghoul. Roll that crossbow attack.
And the Northern
10.
Ghouls with the way they bleed.
Your crossbow bolt misses the ghoul and ricochets around the small room, narrowly missing Osgood, Buffy, and the other ghoul. Bing,
Sorry!
Yeah, there's very few soft substances in this room to, I guess, catch it. So, all right, Davina, anything else?
Yeah, and then I run back.
And you duck away.
Yep.
All right. Opal Grimsbane, you also stand in the vicinity of the door into the western wing of the temple, Ghoul Central. What do you want to do?
I think I am going to take a cue from Davina, just because my spells look cool, but they don't do so much damage. So I'm gonna come up to kind of the corner where I can see both ghouls. I too am gonna fire my crossbow at that northern ghoul, see what I can do. 15?
15 will hit a ghoul.
Okay.
Roll damage on Northern Ghoul. Northern Ghoul may not live through a crossbow attack.
Max damage. So that's 11.
That's bad. You plug Northern Ghoul right, I imagine, like sideways in the head, almost kind of cartoonishly, and Northern Ghoul like just drops to the ground. Yeah.
I like it. I don't have any bonus actions really that I can use. So I think I'm going to go ahead and move into the room now that there's one ghoul. I'll just kind of sneak around to the corner, and then that'll be my turn.
Yep. The room is relatively, I mean, it's I would say kind of, I mean, I guess it's a set of ruins from an ancient temple. So there's really nothing in here as far as furniture. There are some kind of decorative elements on the walls, but it basically seems to be a room where two ghouls dragged some corpses or pre-corpses back here to chew on them, and then you all showed up. So,
Not even ruined furniture?
no, I think it,
Ancient
Probably-
ritual couch?
no, I mean, I think it probably would have been made of some, I think, how long do you think IKEA furniture lasts?
2 years.
In a tube situation. Wow. Mine is way over its date of expiration. I imagine my couch should have just crumpled at this thing here. All right, Osgood,
Any
we
day
are
now.
back around to the top. It is you, the ghoul that you were kind of face to face with, facing off with, has just slumped to the ground, crossing a bolt in its head.
I'm going to assume he's dealt with. I will step over his body and go to the land of the southern ghoul.
Mhm.
And I'm going to attack him.
Classic.
Good choice.
And I have rolled I apologize for the delay in this sentence, 17.
17 is plenty. You're all rolling high tonight. This is not like when you fight goblins and you're bad at everything.
I will again divine smite it. 16 points of damage. Some of that is radiant.
Oh. You bloody yet another ghoul, Osgood. You are just an undead damage-dealing machine.
And I guess I should say something. I look it straight in the eye and say, I'm not afraid of you.
The ghoul kind of goes unclear what that means. You don't speak ghoul, do you?
No.
All right, good. Buffy.
Buffy listens to the ghoul and says, "Your mother taught you to talk that way?" Glaive, glaive, glaive! That's critical glaving.
Your catchphrase, glaive, glaive, glaive.
Yep, critical glaving. Oh, I rolled too many D10s. 2 D10s, and the answer is 2D10. A 13 total damage to that ghoul.
Nice.
13 damage is sufficient to slay the southern ghoul.
Huzzah!
It drops to the ground, kind of joining a kind of gross, sprawling pile with the northern ghoul of ghoul parts. Things seem quiet, but are they? You know what you're doing, Buffy?
I am going to... Well, actually, one of the nice features of Buffy is the ability to... Well, it's more about knowledge, I guess, of ghouls. But Buffy's going to take a moment and use maybe... What do you think, Tony? I want to sense sort of like, is this it? Or is there something else I should be worried about in this area?
Is this a special blood hunter thing, or is this just a...
I'm just role-playing here.
being
It's
smart?
just, I'm just trying... What do I do?
I don't know. Give me a wisdom or intelligence check, whichever you're better at. Maybe.
Oh, Buffy has advantage on wisdom regarding,
Oh, well.
evil undead stuff. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do that then. The answer is 15.
I think that you, Buffy, you innately know deep in your heart that was too easy.
Well, Buffy turns to Osgood and Opal and says, "That was too easy."
I know, right? High five.
Feel it in my heart.
And if I don't see, since I just slayed them, if I don't, Tony, I don't see anything else going on in this room, right?
Correct.
I
Nothing else
am
on
going
in
to
West Wing.
immediately step back out of the room and see if there's anything going on elsewhere here, because I am suspicious that was too easy.
Okay, excellent. You're done with your turn?
I guess, yeah.
All right. Kind of trying to move quietly and stealthily, lurking out of the passageway to the east is a third ghoul that is kind of moves with perhaps alarming speed across the main room of the temple to try and close with you.
All right.
And perhaps would have had a chance to sneak up upon the four of you, but instead, Buffy, you are on alert and you lock eyes with the ghoul scampering across the temple in your direction.
Buffy is on it.
Davina, you are next. I imagine the party is aware that this ghoul is coming up
Buffy
behind them.
ran out there, saw the ghoul, and said, "There's another one."
So, Davina, there is basically 25 feet behind you, closing across this large cavernous room of the temple, another ghoul loping across the floor of the temple.
All right, well, let's shoot him with a crossbow, shall we?
Let's do it.
That's what I always like to do, Buffy
yeah.
says.
12.
12 is the armor class of a ghoul.
Huzzah! I haven't hit anything with my crossbow. I need to find my D8. 1, 2, 3.
D8, D8.
Yep, that's 8. D8. D8. 2, plus 1. 3!
All right, 3 damage. Your crossbow bolt glances the torso of the ghoul, kind of cutting it in some really gross black sticky stuff kind of oozes out of a wound in its side.
Ew.
Yeah, don't eat that. Anyone who's thinking of, let me put some of that on a sandwich. No, don't do that.
Tony, I don't like that we can see that you're rolling d20s in the Roll20 chat. It's very unsettling.
I'm sorry. I can do that in a hidden way if you want.
No, I just let you know it's unsettling. That says Tony rolled a 17. Tony rolled a 7.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you roll in front of the screen. Sometimes you roll behind the screen. Whatever messes with your player heads more. That's why I approach Dungeons and Dragons. Look, this is a game about friendship, but also a game where I want to destroy your mind.
It's fine. It's fine,
sorry.
Tony. We love it.
Totally fine.
All right. What was I doing? I was doing damage to this ghoul, which I have noted. The ghoul is no longer in mint condition. And I believe Opal Grimsmaid, you are next. You now know that the battle is taking place back of the room you just came from. Looking around the corner, you see a straight shot across to the ghoul, maybe 30 feet away from you, right 35, right in the middle of the temple room.
Okay. Remind me, are these like floor to ceiling columns in the middle of the temple?
there are some nice floor to ceiling columns holding up the ceiling of the temple. So there's some places you could find cover or hide in.
I feel like this is like becoming the Zillow listing for this temple now.
Yeah.
Floor to ceiling columns.
Floor to ceiling columns.
I mean, it is a fixer upper. This place is
It's sold as
splatter.
is.
See, I'm more of a renter than a home buyer, and let me tell you, there's a big difference. I enjoy when you have things where my favorite listings for rental places are when they really have nothing nice to say about it, and the best they can say is clean.
Yeah.
That is
rats.
not a good sign.
That is not always the case. When we were looking for an apartment once, we walked in and there was just a big pile of dog poop in the center of the living room floor.
I don't think there's a legal definition of clean that they're held to. Whereas like 2 bedrooms that means something. That has a definition. Clean.
All right.
I'm also airy and full of light. That means that we don't have blinds on any windows. Opal Grimsmaid, I apologize. You asked about columns. I gave you a spiel about
hey, it's fine. I'll take all your tips for looking for apartments. So
Okay, I said Zillow.
whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's on me.
All right. So I'm gonna come out of the room and kind of stand back behind Buffy because I have a feeling that she's a little less squishy than I am. But I'm gonna fire my crossbow and get a 7 to hit. So, it's just a warning shot. Just
Just
stay back.
intimidation.
Just
you fired against across the prow of a ghoul.
Yeah, that's totally what it's called. Yep.
Jason, you're a blood hunter. Do ghouls have a prow?
Yeah, totally.
They don't. They used to when they were alive. They did, but they don't anymore.
That's the difference between a ghoul and a zombie. A zombie has a prow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always get that confused.
This is
So
like a zombie can carry other zombies, but a ghoul. Yeah. Okay. No, Monty is nodding his head at my madness, so I'll just stop talking there. Thank you, Monty.
Yep.
You validated me. That's all I need. I don't need to finish my joke.
It's perfect just the way it was, Tony.
The conclusion of the joke is left as an exercise for the reader.
Yep. Starship. Starship? No, starboard. Starboard. Why am I saying like that?
You're aristocrats.
Is this temple a starship? Cool.
No. Ooh. Spoilers for that one episode of Dungeon Crawl Classics are at. I'm sorry, everybody. Monty, it's Ozka's
R.I.P.
turn.
all of Monty's characters.
Let's see. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and be out of movement because of my tiny little adorable but shapely halfling legs.
Oh yeah, I can
It's
see
the
the
paladin
difference in those
training.
calves from here. Someone's been doing exercises.
And I think I'm just going to...
Squats? I don't know what people do.
It's for your butt, no, not your calves.
Squats don't help your legs? I don't know.
I'm just going to lay on hands myself real quick.
Whoa. Just behind that column. It's not that kind of temple, Monty.
Well, it seems that somebody did 7 points of damage to me.
That ghoul is dead. I don't take any responsibility for that.
So I'm going to lay on hands for 5 points, leaving 5
Okay.
points for helping out others, which I guess I should do occasionally. And that's all.
All right. Next up, if you're just joining us for Tuesday night Total Party Kill, that's not how podcast works. It's Jason Snell's
Oh,
turn.
hi. You tuned in the middle? That's weird. Why would you do that?
It's very weird.
Yeah. I only like to download parts of files. That's my thing.
Well,
I had to skip all those Audible ads. There's Audible ads on
Yeah.
this, right?
I don't think there are.
Buffy has rolled a d4 and it's a 1. Well,
Congratulations.
Hunting blood?
she just did a little blood ritual and took 2 damage, and then she runs over to the ghoul.
Do you have to like stab yourself for that, or is that just like happen?
How
Yeah, you
else
have
do
to
you
cut
get the
yourself.
blood?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
she
does the blood.
It's like
trickle out of your
content
eye?
warning for blood sacrifice.
Self-harm.
But
Okay.
it's all. But she's doing it for the greater good, and
Mhm.
and then she runs up to the 10 feet just in case that guy doesn't want to attack her after she does this. And
I just suddenly
lifetime.
had an image that Buffy looks a lot more like Victor Zsasz than Buffy the Vampire
No,
Slayer.
definitely not. She looks
Okay.
strangely, eerily yet distinctly like Sarah Michelle Gellar 20 years ago.
Got it.
But with blood
that
running
is-
down her face like she's in a 1970s wrestling match.
That is a 17 to hit.
17 definitely hits.
All right. So she's gonna do 9 damage,
Wow.
And-
9 damage.
and
Bloody's a ghoul.
remember that D4?
Yeah. Is this hunter extra hunter?
Oh, yes, it is, and that means
You're hunting for the blood.
boo! Lightning strikes out of the glaive,
Lightning.
attacking the
Nice.
ghoul for an extra 4 damage.
Ooh.
All right, that ghoul is bloody and I would say significantly electrified at this point.
And Buffy says, "I told you, it was too easy."
If you're done, Buffy, the ghoul is going to lurch
All right,
forward toward
I get
you.
it. I get it.
Well, you were closest to the ghoul,
Yeah.
and a swipe at
That's
you.
why I get it. And I did a lot
I
of
call
damage.
it a coward.
It totally makes sense.
You know what? This ghoul is going to. It's going to try and bite you. The other ghouls were clawing ghouls. This is a biting ghoul. I have rolled a 22 to hit you. I feel confident that hits you.
It does hit me.
That ghoul takes like a chunk out of your arm. 9 piercing damage. You can't get that back.
Ouch.
When you say you can't get that back, do you mean that can't be healed?
I mean, I don't know what the limits of magical medicine are, but like, I imagine
They're
it leaves
pretty
a mark.
good.
I mean,
pretty
it would
good,
be a different section of the arm that grows back at
Yeah.
some point, so you
It's
can't
like
get the
a-
bite
What?
that,
Hang
that
on.
he,
Oh,
he
there's
swallowed.
a bite out here and then a bite-sized lump over here.
No,
Bad
it's
magic.
more like
Bad magic.
it's like a ship of Theseus kind of situation. It depends what your copay is. So,
Now, a ship of Theseus, that has a stern.
or a prow,
And a prow.
Whatever it was.
Chip things.
Yeah, whatever those words are that Tony said. Davina, it's your turn.
All right. Davina is crossbow again, and also rolled a 12 again. This 9,
Which is still the armor class of a ghoul.
Still, let's give a good roll with my D8. What the heck? It's like deja vu. I rolled a 2 again, +1, so another 3.
All right, this one, you get the ghoul like right in the knee, and the ghoul goes kind of like all like squiggly and is like not as mobile as it was before, but it's still moving. But that ghoul looks like it is barely clinging to its undeath. Opal Grimsby, can you do something about the ghoul problem?
I don't know.
What if we all just fed ourselves to the ghoul? Wouldn't that solve the problem? Let's think outside the
It'd
box.
be easier. All right, let's try the crossbow again. No, Davina.
What?
You and I with the crossbows. It's
Did
not
we
working.
do it again?
It's not working.
We're
This is-
we're besties right now. So
I guess.
It just isn't working. And I'm sorry that my awesomeness is just seeping all of your rolling from you. Hopefully next time you can do better.
Thanks.
One of you have
percentage of these
magic
characters-
powers.
Yeah. What percentage of these characters are from California?
Oh, and Buffy is shaking her head like, okay, I need to teach these people some crossbow skills. Really, really need to be better at this.
Osgood.
Oh, me already?
Yeah. 4 players, no waiting.
All right. Well, then I will come around the side here and not attack from his back. I'll say, hey, over here. So it kind of lurches over. And then,
Is it a T-Rex?
that's not a good number to roll. It's an 11.
Oh, somehow you slice in the direction of the ghoul, and the ghoul kind of just stumbles out of the way, perhaps out of luck more than skill. The ghoul, still a dangerous undead thing, somehow barely clinging to life, even though it's been
3
stabbed
rounds.
and shot and electrocuted and all kinds of things. The question is, can Buffy stop it before it attacks again?
Yeah, the answer is yes. Buffy hits it with a 20. That's 6 glaive damage, and additional 3 lightning damage.
Buffy, would you like to tell us how you have ended the fight and taken down this ghoul?
Buffy reaches out with the glaive, strikes the ghoul in the chest. The ghoul looks down, and then looks up at her and smiles, thinking, aha, I have survived another one of your attacks. At which point, lightning blows his head off.
Oh, gosh. And what's left of it slumps to the ground.
and Buffy's final comment as it slumps to the ground is, gross.
Yep.
Ew.
All right.
Ew. Gross.
Buffy, your finely tuned blood hunter senses relax as you get the sense that you have dealt with the threat of the ghouls menacing this area of the town.
Hooray.
Professor Winsome Landy kind of sneaks over from looking up from behind a column from, I don't know, a good 40 or 50 feet away, and just gives all of you like a really enthusiastic thumbs up. Good show. She claps a little bit, but like a golf clap.
Do you want to identify? This is awkward. Your students?
Not that
Oh.
one over there.
Do
I
you recognize
point.
these people?
Professor Winsome Landy kind of like completely just like tightens up and approaches, and she comes over and looks at the ghoul at the at Buffy's feet.
Sorry, I blew
its
up
head
his
is
I blew up his
blown.
head. I don't know if that hurt. It probably doesn't make identification.
We can't get a dental
easy, but I can't
record,
I
but
can't
maybe.
unblow it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, I recognize I recognize that belt. That was Quinn. She was a gnome. She was one of my students.
No
This
more.
was a gnome?
I suppose so.
That's weird. I didn't notice it being so small earlier when it was described to me.
I recall her being shorter in life. Professor Winsome Landy pokes her head into the other room where you took out the other 2 ghouls, and identifies that they are also some of her missing graduate students. An elf by the name of Skane, a human named Tanlick. They appear to be the bodies that the ghouls were munching on are not people that Professor Winsome Landy recognizes. I think it might be safe to conclude that they are people that were just patrons at Havel's Cross that were brought back here as a, snack for later. What has befallen my students? Where am I going to get more? I mean, what has befallen my students? This is horrible. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yes. Ghouls are very
Clearly,
bad.
they were turned into ghouls. Just so you know, just like clarifying that these
Professor,
Probably a
ghouls
curse or
were
some
your
sort.
people.
Professor, would you? This temple seems connected in some ways to the legends of the creation of ghouls by the elves long ago. What do you think about that as an expert?
Well, I am looking around at these rooms. This is, when I was last at the site, my students really hadn't finished cleaning things up yet. But I can see that there are different iconographies here. This room that we're in here, it seems to, I'm seeing images that elves would perhaps symbolize with life. And here to the west, I'm seeing images and some words in Ancient Elven that I think might have to do with birth. But this room to the east, there are symbols here that I think are associated with death.
Would it be worth me reading, casting?
Someone did
comprehend
comprehend languages.
Yeah.
I think that would still be active. I don't think that much time has passed.
Okay.
Since
We should also
Yeah,
search because
just
we
an
didn't.
hour.
I don't think we searched all of these
Yeah.
rooms, and we should do
No,
that.
you didn't
Yeah.
really.
We need to do that.
Were those all of the students that you left here?
No, my head student is still unaccounted for. Caldor, a lovely elven lad, and I had hired Quinn, a dwarven bodyguard, to oversee things and make sure my grad students stayed out of trouble.
Well, he did a great
Caldor
job.
and Quinn are still missing.
It's weird to call a student of yours lovely, by the way. It's inappropriate.
I'll try to be better. I'll look at this as an opportunity to learn.
All right, so I want to go into the ghoul room here and read as much as I can.
All right. Why don't people feel free to put your tokens wherever you want to be searching, and I will probably tell you different things depending on where you're searching and what you're finding. So I'm going to start with Aline. Opal, you went into the kind of western little wing of this temple ruins and are looking around. There's this same kind of, it must be some kind of mantra or something, repeated again and again in Ancient Elven on the walls. I think you read it in the walls in the main chamber last session. And what lives will die, and what dies will be reborn, and what is reborn will live, and what lives will die, and what dies will be reborn, etc. And so that is worked into all of the kind of images here. Looking around, there's the kind of gross remains of the patrons of Havel's Cross that these ghouls dragged home and were feeding upon. Room is relatively small. There's no kind of windows to let in light. No torches have been lit, so it's kind of dark and dreary. The images on the wall show kind of motifs of like seeds and nuts. The ceiling is engraved with representations of perhaps elven children, and it looks like perhaps calves and baby chickens and other kind of young infantile kind of creatures in play.
Buffy says, "Wow, that's a lot of seeds and nuts. Were these like squirrel people?"
To your knowledge, the elves were not squirrel people. It might be a metaphor.
This could date to the creation of agriculture, where like seeds were very, very important. I don't know if.
Yep. I think in
elves-
Dungeons and Dragons canon, agriculture is left over from a war between wizards. I don't know the details, but yes. So that's where most of the major inventions came from. Buffy, it looks like you are investigating the room to the east.
Yes, that we hadn't been in before. Buffy's wandered over there.
Yeah. There are the remains of a human that Quinn, the former gnome graduate student, was eating in ghoul form and tracked a decent amount of across the temple when coming to fight you. This room is similar in kind of physical proportions to the room that Opal is exploring on the other side of the temple, but the iconography here is very different. The walls are inlaid with kind of images and graphics of thorns and wilted roses. The ceiling shows this like kind of like a maze depiction, but the maze is made out of bones and skulls. It looks like the graduate students who were excavating the site were using this room as their sleeping chamber. So there are a bunch of kind of bedrolls and some bags of personal items and cooking equipment kind of stacked up and taking up most of this room.
Buffy turns back around and says, "Hey, it's all death stuff in this room over here." And then says, "Professor Landy, look, I didn't graduate from college, but I don't know about grad students." You can check that out in season 6 of anyway. I don't know, but your grad students chose to sleep in the death room? Come on.
Ew.
Well, there's a reason they haven't earned doctorates yet. I suppose never will.
Well, common sense might have helped there. Anyway, this is all death images over here. So we got squirrels over there and death over here.
I mentioned fruits and nuts. Technically,
and
never
death.
mentioned the word squirrels, but yes.
And yet now we can all see the squirrels in our mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's true.
Davina, what are you investigating?
Davina is going as far away from the gross stuff as she can, and so she's investigating these boxes and stuff in the corner away from the oozy gross goblins.
Yeah. So off in the corner of this main temple room here, kind of relatively near just the main entrance to the temple, there is just like a decent sized pile of crates, and you're looking through them. These seem to be basically the supplies for the campsite for the dig operations. So there's some crates of rations, and you find some crates with flasks of lamp oil, some blankets that are still rolled up, some unlit torches and things like that. It seems to be basically just, it's like this is all the equipment they brought with them. There's a bunch of creative pickaxes and little shovels and little flags for putting in dig sites and things like that. All right. Osgood, what are you investigating?
I'd like to see the north wall. The map kind of cuts off there. I don't know if there's a wall up here or not.
There is a north wall. It looks like right around where you've placed your token, there's this kind of circular altar. And this seems to be kind of the main temple. It's big and it's not particularly ornate. This seems to be the closest thing there is to ornamentation here in the main chamber. You know, the columns are very kind of functional and lacking in perhaps some of the flourish that you might be used to in ruins. So you are looking at this circular altar at the far end of the main room. It's kind of directly across from the entrance to the room, about 100 feet south. And it is made of well-worn stone. And on top of it, there are 3 evenly spaced hollows. The text that Opal was reading, like, kind of goes up the side of the altar. It spirals around it. Again, and what lives will die, and what dies will be reborn, and what is reborn will live. And perhaps related to the altar, not sure, there is some kind of, it looks like kind of just, I don't know if it's junk, but stuff scattered on the floor, maybe that got knocked off the altar or something like that.
Do these 3 openings or whatever, are they the right size for ghoul heads? Is that what we have to do?
No, they look small for any humanoid skull. Maybe, I mean,
We got a gnome right here.
Yeah, I would say that they are solidly in between the size of a squirrel skull. Why would I use that as a frame of reference?
I have no idea.
I've been incepted. And a gnome skull. They're in between. use that as your frame of reference. Handy everyday objects like a squirrel skull and a gnome skull, people. One of those, a real thing that you are unlikely to find in your everyday life. One of them, a fictional thing. I'm going to say that they are, what is an actual frame of reference that would be slightly more useful? I'm going to say
baseball?
that they are... yeah, that's pretty good. I don't totally know what size a baseball is because I'm only legally an American, not culturally. Jason just looks so disappointed in me. I was gonna. Well, all right.
A
Jason,
cricket ball?
Oh yeah, that
A
helps.
bocce ball?
I assume a cricket ball
Hand?
is a baseball that would be used by crickets, and therefore it's very
Tony,
small.
hold out your hand like you might hold a baseball-sized object.
A
I am
That's
gonna
the
say-
size of
circular
a baseball.
Okay, but like I'm palming it. So I'm gonna say I was imagining like a grapefruit.
Okay,
Is that more like a softball?
Yeah.
That's more of softball.
sure.
What are
Okay.
these again?
So-
I'm now very confused about whether this is a squirrel soul or a grapefruit or something. What-
What?
There are 3 compartments in the top of this stone altar, so we are not even in fact describing a thing, but an absence.
Ah,
of
I see.
Ooh.
And they're little
Yes.
square. I guess you could think of them as compartments or nooks or I don't know.
Guys, be on the lookout for 3 square things about the size of. Ooh, how to put it? About this big?
Mm.
So like a squirrel skull, between a squirrel skull and a gnome skull.
Yes, exactly.
But
Thank you.
square.
All
I
right,
was
you
having
gnome
trouble.
skulls. Figure this out.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want just because we went on a lengthy tangent that was 85% my fault? Osgood, do you want to look at the junk on the floor?
I would like to look at the junk on the floor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Scattered on the floor are 3 small bowls that look.
Hey guys, I found the things.
They look identical in proportions, though they seem to be constructed of slightly different materials. There's also like it's smaller than the crates over where Davina is, but there's like a box of stuff that's kind of like looks like it's been knocked off the altar and it's kind of like half open and stuff is falling out of it.
What are the bowls made out of, Tony?
There is a bowl that appears to be made from gold, a bowl that appears to be made from iron, and a bowl made from a kind of black stone. Let's call it obsidian. Looking at them, they seem to have writing in ancient Elvish.
Oh, who's comprehending languages?
Me. I'll come over.
Check it out.
All right. Opal, there's some bowls here. They say something on them. It probably is the same thing everything else says, but
You can put
Come
a squirrel
over to
skull on
verify.
one of them.
There are no squirrel skulls in this room yet.
for the next 2 hours, we go out and look for squirrel skulls.
That is
Not
traditional
living
Dungeons and Dragons.
squirrels, dead squirrels.
Well, yeah, you want them to be
No
free
squirrels
range.
were harmed.
I mean, if we
By
us.
put live squirrels in there, they're just going to jump out again, and
And-
it's,
Yeah, that's
it's
it's just
circus.
logic.
It's
And really quick,
awful.
what's this junk that spilled out of the thing?
Oh yeah, there's a wooden box. I don't know if I mean, it seems like this is probably something that the grad students would have brought here. It does not look like it's original to the ancient temple of life and death. It's kind of a weird collection. There's some eggs, some of which are broken. There is a small knife with some kind of like reddish, rusty stuff caked on it. There's a mortar and pestle. There's a bundle of chicken bones tied up with string.
I don't like any
These
of
are
this.
a few of my favorite.
I don't like-
things. There you go.
Thank you, Kathy.
any
I'm
of
here.
this.
Are these sacrifices? Did they make sacrifices? Is that what happened here?
I don't know.
Are you
I'm here
asking
to
me?
read.
It's-
Can I read?
I'm just
Oh,
asking
yeah.
the room. Also, a professor who is an expert in these things is in the room with us. Just saying.
I don't
Professor,
trust
are these
her
squirrel bones?
expertise.
The professor looks at them and says, hold on, the professor's going to roll medicine.
Roll
Yes!
squirrel.
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
Could be. Maybe.
They must be. Some kind of small animal. You can tell by the structure here that it was ground dwelling, so perhaps very light bones for a
Are
squirrel. though.
squirrels considered ground dwelling?
Well, if they're ground squirrel.
Oh, that's true.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Opal, how good of you to have come over here. Please read these bowls.
Please read.
I don't know why
That
Yelena is
just
acting
kills
like
me.
that was the funniest thing I've said, but it's the stupidest
No, I think that just tipped over into like my acceptance of tonight being one of the most ridiculous things I've experienced in like 2 months.
I'm on like
Just-
3 hours of sleep, people. Everything's great.
Everything is awesome.
Oh, okay. I'm here to read the bowls.
Read the bowls.
I think you tried to do that about 12 minutes ago, but I'm being me. So there is language and iconography in ancient Elvish around the bowls. Each of the bowls has kind of some words that are the same and some words that are different. What a strange way for me to just explain
words.
language.
Sound like other words.
They're made out
it
of
may
letters.
be helpful for you to write this down just because it's a decent chunk of information. There are 3 bowls. Golden bowl, or gold bowl, says the essence of birth, written kind of in fancy elven, ancient elvish script around the rim of the bowl. I hear a ding that says someone put it in the chat, which is very smart.
Thank you.
The iron bowl says the essence of life. And the obsidian bowl says the essence of death.
Okay, well, this seems pretty direct then, right, guys? We just put the bowls.
Professor Winston Landy is like, these seem ceremonial in nature. All my graduate students were not messing with these things. There have been strict no sacrificing policies since the last incident.
How long ago was that incident?
Oh, it was with a previous set of graduate students. They tried to raise Orcus. It was a whole thing. I had to do so much training and paperwork after that.
So there wasn't a rule against sacrificing people until then?
It was more of a guideline.
Buffy looks at the iron bowl. What's
Buffy.
is there a trace of something in there, like blood, let's say?
Looking in the iron bowl, give me a perception check.
Oh, and you're going to want to check out this knife with the weird red crust on it. This this seems
I'm
like
sure
your
it's-
kind of thing.
No, Buffy only got a 9, even though she's looking for blood, which is like her thing.
Yeah, you're not sure. There's something in it, but it could be a
Come
lot
on,
of
she
things.
says,
It could just be dirt.
essence of life. It's got to be blood. Blood's my thing. It's got to be blood. I don't know about birth. Do we have to get like, what's an essence of birth? An essence of,
Placenta?
Well, they're the
Placenta, right?
eggshell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go out in the woods.
Or
and we
Any
will-
baby
the-
squirrels out
the
there?
First,
Yeah.
the first pregnant squirrel we meet, we are talking to.
Do-
that is a commitment.
Do elves give live birth? Are they mammals?
I'm
Have
worried
you
about
seen
setting canon
Galadriel?
here that's going to get
Yeah,
me
they are.
later. Yeah. I believe that elves are mammals.
All right.
What about like seeds though? Because like seeds give
Wasn't there an
birth to
eggshell?
trees. Ooh, an eggshell?
Wasn't there an
Was
eggshell?
there
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Eggshell in the birth bowl.
Blood and iron.
The
Death.
Blood and
what
iron.
about the,
Iron. You know, there's blood content in iron, so that makes sense, right?
What
Iron's
about
made of blood.
the
Blood's made of iron.
black like slime from the goblin or the ghouls? Not goblins.
I
From the ghouls.
I would
Tony,
say that
can-
is just very, very poorly maintained blood. Just to be clear. That's
Okay.
what ghouls are
Okay.
inside.
Okay.
Tony, can you go over the things that were spilling out of that box again?
Yeah. Spilling out of the box a seemingly random collection of a half dozen eggs, some of which had gotten broken somewhere along the way, some of which are still intact. A small knife stained with something red or rusty-ish, a mortar and pestle, and a bundle of chicken bones tied up with string. These are a few things.
I think we established those are squirrel bones.
I think that the eggs are the essence of birth, and the chicken bones are the essence of death, and the
squirrel
knife
bones?
is the
Yep.
essence of life.
Yeah. With the blood.
mean-
Without knives,
yeah,
we
because
cannot
bones
live.
are death. Because you only see bones.
And Buffy says,
you're
one time I ate a whole plate of chicken wings and I felt real bad after, so I'll go with that.
All right, so we
What kind
put
of-
those.
Yeah.
We put those.
I would
things
like you
in
to
those.
clarify very specifically, one at a time, which things and exactly how you're preparing them you are doing. Would you like to start with the golden bowl?
I am putting one unbroken egg into the golden bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and then I am putting the golden bowl into the spot in the wall closest to the life-themed room.
Okay. It seems to fit kind of like pleasantly, like kind of just as if that bowl was like the little almost like a socket, like that little compartment was exactly a bowl sized.
And I am putting the knife into the iron bowl and putting it into the middle.
I will say the knife is bigger than the bowl, and it won't.
But-
It's like it's not gonna fit into the compartment with the knife sticking out, the handle of the knife sticking out.
Buffy
of the bowl.
gets her little utility knife out and reopens her wound from earlier and puts some of her blood in the bowl. And then
Okay.
puts that bowl in that
So-
spot in the
Kinda-
middle.
That's the golden
Iron
bowl,
bowl.
in the left snock, iron bowl in the
Left
middle
snout.
slot.
Yep.
And I will put a bone into the obsidian bowl and then look around at everybody. And are we okay with this?
Professor Winsome Laney says, "What do you think about the mortar and pestle? Do you
Yeah,
think
I
those
was
are
like-
important?"
Do we need to grind the bones up? That sounds like something we should do. Oh, my watch. How to grind bones in 11 steps is what my watch found.
I can't possibly take 11 steps to do that.
Siri says we
You
should
have to
grind up some bones.
You need to find a giant. You need to find out if that giant wants bread, and then find out if that giant is gluten intolerant, and then bring up
Then you can
grinding
Sure.
bones.
Grind
Yeah.
up that bone.
All
Bone
right.
powder, bone meal.
Who
Bone.
wants to grind some bones at level 2?
I will.
All right, Osgood, you put some chicken or squirrel bones in the mortar and pestle. They crunch up real nice. You've got the mortar is the vessel part. You have a mortar full of powdered bone. Be careful about inhaling around that.
I will pour the bone into the obsidian bowl.
Okay, it's not like it doesn't fill it, but
Right.
there's a little bit on the bottom. Yeah, we're not. It's not like a cereal bowl of heaped with bone powder. Let's not get
Bonos.
Yum.
you too? No.
Sunny.
Okay.
And
do you
I
wanna
will
put
put
that third
the
and
bowl
final
into the final
obsidian
depression.
bowl? All right. As you do that, there's like a clicking sound, and the altar kind of lowers a little bit, and then the back wall of the temple, there's a sound of stone grinding on stone as a passageway opens up, showing a set of stairs descending into the earth, wending its way down a dark, spooky staircase covered with ancient spider webs, maybe some wet spots of moss here and there. Turns out this spooky temple has a basement. Back to the Zilla listing.
Okay,
Cool.
Professor, I'm pretty sure your other person's down there, so we'll just good luck. Bye. Like,
Should I stay here? Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Why don't you go down and call out what was his name again? I just don't remember. I'm terrible with names. I think you should just see if you can find your employee.
The Professor Winsome Landy kind of steps over to the door, but kind of like stays at the side, and then like pokes her head around the dark stairway leading down beneath the temple and yells out, "Calidor? Calidor! Calidor, Calidor, Calidor," echoes back. "Grass?" She kind of shrugs. Shallow steps descend into the earth, wending their way down a kind of twisting set of stairs that lead somewhat deep beneath the temple. This is not just one level deep. The stairs are occasionally clogged with ancient spider webs, soggy moss. But as you reach the bottom of the stairs, you see a faint flickering light of a torch illuminating a doorway. And even as you kind of see the giant kind of ornate temple room beyond, an overwhelming stench greets you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to let you know, this stench is real bad. Like, it's gonna be distractingly bad, such that you are probably gonna have disadvantage on a lot of things if you can't do something about the stench.
Joke's on you. I have exhaustion. I already have disadvantage on things.
Oh yeah.
You're doing
Can't
so
double
well for having
disadvantage
exo-
me.
especially.
The basement of the temple stands ahead of you. There's a large, kind of a vaulted ceiling. The temple unlike the temple above, this area, unlike the kind of dilapidated of ruins above, this area of the temple appears kind of much more ornate, as if this was a place where a lot more attention was paid. There's fancy tile work. There are columns. Somebody has lit some of the torches illuminating the area ahead. You see far across the chamber some kind of statue to some somewhat sinister looking elven god, steps leading up to that. And in the center of the chamber, kind of in perhaps some kind of ceremonial circle, are what could only be described as the remains of several humanoids. They are torn up and cut up in ways that it is unclear exactly how many or what nature of creatures they are.
Ew.
Gross.
Yeah, I also think gross. But
Good consensus on gross.
But I have
Thank
to
you.
dash forward and see what the deal is.
Yep, same.
All right. Do you all want to roughly move as a group?
Yeah.
I'm good back here.
Okay.
Is the stench getting worse as we get closer?
It seems like this pile is the source of the
Okay.
stench. The stench is rotting flesh that is, I mean, I guess perhaps it's unclear if it's the quantity of bodies or what has been done to them or the lack of airflow in this room, but it is distractingly.
Tony, are there
pungent in a way
torches?
that
Are
is
those
very-
torches that we see around us?
Yeah, there's some kind of decent. I would say there's good lighting in here. Almost
Davina's
cozy,
taking
inviting.
a selfie sketch.
Yep, great lighting, clean.
I would
So-
like to use divine sense to detect good and evil, thus sensing anything affected by the hallow spell and knowing the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Mm-hmm. You do not detect any. I don't think that anything comes up on that, other than that this temple itself is, Main Street, spooky town.
Right.
Bad news bears.
I just wanted to make sure that these cut up bodies weren't all going to assemble and turn
No,
into a giant.
They do not. They seem like they have been involved in either involved in or prepared for some manner of ritual sacrifice, but do not seem in danger of coming back.
I have a strategic thing I would like to ask everybody now, which is,
Yeah.
did we take a short rest before we came down here? And if not, do you want to run back up there and take a short rest?
Wait a whole hour? Come on, we have to fight. Let's
All
go.
right, okay. All right. I only have 7 hit points, but that's okay. Whatever. That's what healing is for.
Yep, I can
Okay.
give you a whole.
What can we
couple.
do to get this smell out of here? You want to set them on fire? What should we do?
It's
Let's
a
burn it.
traditional way to reduce smell in a
Viking
room.
funeral?
Well, first, I'd like to use Mage Hand because I haven't used Mage Hand yet. Feels like a travesty.
Yeah,
to just
Fairly D&D.
kind of because I don't want to touch anything, but also I just want to investigate a little bit and just is it just a gross pile of parts that
Roll medicine with your mage hand.
okay, come on, Mage Hand. Yeah, that's what I would expect a Mage Hand to do. That's a 3.
Like, mage hand is like-
Mage Hand is not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the mage hand is kind of poking around. It's kind of grisly as the mage hand picks up an arm and it's like puts the arm back down and picks up a foot. I will tell you, Opal, that you are able to determine that there is probably 3-ish bodies here. One of them seems surprisingly intact, but then there's several others that look like they have been cut up, and there are some ancient looking stone knives on the ground next to them that look like they were stained with blood that were used in whatever work is at play here.
Do they all seem to have about the same level of decay? Have they all been here about
Yeah,
the
they-
same
they
amount
are
of time?
recent.
Okay.
Yeah, recent additions to this temple.
Can we look at the knives a little bit closer with
Sure.
mage hand, not human hand, to
Yep.
pick it up and look at it?
Mage hand picks them up. It's a pointy stone knife. It's basically a kind of a triangle with a jagged edge, and they are stained with blood.
Tony, I have advantage on checks about information about the undead. Could I use that to see if this is perhaps some sort of a ritual that would precede the creation of ghouls.
Yep.
All right.
Give me a roll.
18.
This does not seem like any undead summoning ritual or creation ritual that you are familiar with. This is something else, Buffy, and I don't know. You kind of maybe get the sense that somebody was, let's just say, freestyling. I'm trying to speak to Buffy in her language.
Freestyling. Yeah, this is not a normal thing. This is somebody who is wigging out.
Going cray, you say?
We need to do something about the smell, though. What are we gonna do?
Burning.
Is this a pool over here? This kind of blue-green thing?
Yeah, it's kind of just choked with algae at this point, but there are throughout the temple there are some kind of pools. Unclear if they were meant to collect water, but that's what they are doing now.
All right, let's start dragging bodies upstairs to bury them. And I grab a body and start. No, I'm going to grab a body and start dragging it towards the stairs.
All right. Do you want to start with the intact one?
Yes.
Okay, because the other ones you might need like a shovel for. So you pull on the mainly intact one as you kind of separate it from the gross heap. It appears to be a dwarf with a long, impressive red beard, and that seems to have suffered a traumatic wound to the back of the head. Otherwise intact, unlike the various other bodies that, in this case, upstairs, torn apart by ghouls. Other ones down here, ritualistically sliced up.
Weird. All right, I'm going to try to drag it upstairs and then all the way out of the temple.
Okay, Osgood, I'm gonna say you do that and then come back. How's that?
All right. Oh,
I'm removing one body from the pile.
That was gross, but I think the only way to like get rid of the scent in here is to I don't know, pick up half a torso.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How are we gonna get rid of all the little pieces though?
Well, the little pieces won't be as smelly as the big pieces, right?
Okay.
Well, Buffy says, "Oh, I've got this bag," and she starts to like use the glaive to sort of scrape pieces into the bag.
Is this just a bag or is this a magic bag?
No, it's no.
Did this bag come pre-filled?
No,
with
it's like
bits?
a little
like a
canvas
garbage
bag
bag.
inside my backpack on my back.
Oh, okay, like that you would have at the grocery store.
Yeah, it's a
So that you don't
reusable.
have to use
It's a
plastic
reusable
Yeah.
Whole Foods bag. In
Body
fact,
bag.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a reusable.
it's not going to be reused after this, but that's
Okay.
why we have
Does
bags.
the professor recognize any of the
Body parts as we bring
bodies
them
or
out.
partial
Pieces?
bodies?
Well, the dwarf, Osgood will say that as you brought the dwarf up, she immediately recognized Gross, the dwarven bodyguard that was hired to take care of the grad students. She seems quite moved by his death. Perhaps he's been with her for a while.
When
Sad.
Osgood dragged the first body up, Davina went yee and is over here in the corner, just kind of like
Okay.
not.
If we're gonna say
handling
you
the
want
smell.
to, if you all collectively want to spend some time moving body bits, we can fast forward.
Let's do that.
That's this incredibly grisly part.
let's do
I
that.
just feel
And so you
like
do that.
the life of a paladin is going to involve getting a lot of gross stuff on me anyway, so it's
Yeah.
best to start getting
Yeah.
used to it now.
Blood hunters
Yep.
too. That's the way it goes.
Yep. You should both make friends with somebody with prestidigitation, or your dry cleaning bills are going to be through the roof. All right. Several hours later, you've done that. Instead of taking a short rest, the stench has cleared. You feel like you can focus a little bit more. And as you come back down, I think there's still a decent amount of, filth and gross stuff here in this ancient, dilapidated temple. But you can focus a little bit more. And perhaps now that the horrible stench fog has cleared, you're a little bit more aware of your surroundings than you were before. And is that crying you hear behind one of the columns in the basement of the temple? It might be.
Oh boy.
It's not
It
me.
smelled so bad we couldn't hear something. That's impressive.
Yeah,
That's
how
how
smelly.
that's how cognitive load works, people. Look it up.
No.
It was hard to concentrate. So, I'm trying to make an educational component of our Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and sadly, Monty's
Thank you,
contract
Tony.
gives him line item veto, and I can't.
We
fight
appreciate
that.
you, Tony.
He is a great negotiator, people. It's just, you know, what can you do? Yeah. Well, maybe it wasn't there before, but you hear it this time as you come back down. Maybe you were so focused on the bits.
Gross. Oh, do you hear crying?
Yep.
Where's the crying coming from?
Davina's like wiping her tears. I think there's somebody else crying.
Oh yeah, oh, did I mention it was Davina? Yeah, it sounds like possibly from behind one of the columns that kind of looks down on the ceremonial circle that you were.
I feel like maybe
Davina
Davina would have been the one to notice that, since she's been hanging out back there and being upset.
No one asked what was going on behind the columns, so now you know about it.
Staying, let's say, 15 feet, knowing how long the glaive is, walking around. Or do I need to roll perception or something, or am I pretty?
No, I'm gonna say you're looking for the sound of the source of the crying sound. You kind of look around, and it looks like there's maybe a figure. There's somebody kind of curled up in a ball, kind of behind one of the columns, and looks like it's a person. They're filthy. They also don't smell great, and they seem to be kind of quietly sobbing to themselves.
Hey, y'all. There's someone crying over here. Hey, are you okay?
No.
Okay. Hey, team. They're not okay. Just so you know.
Davina, I believe in you. You can do this.
I'm not good with like people. And okay, fine. Taking a step like closer. Did you how long have you been here? Come here often? Do you need like some water or something?
She is bad at this.
Yep.
What's a girl like you doing in a temple like this?
How did you stay alive?
The figure kind of turns to look at you, and you see kind of the grimy face of just a very kind of sad, wretched-looking elf with kind of matted, long black hair, looking back at you. And just, I think all my friends are dead.
Buffy goes over.
Yeah.
Who did this to you?
I don't know what happened. Grass, he got mad and he started attacking people, and then I hid down here.
Are you one of Professor Landy's students?
You know Professor Landy? She's gonna be so mad when she hears about this.
She's upstairs.
Ah! He kind of crumbles. My name's Calidor.
Yeah, we figured. Can you walk, or do we need to drag you out of the temple too?
We've got a bag here.
No, the bag is outside. It's
already okay.
It's turned inside out, and yeah.
I walk. Calidor kind of uses the column he was kind of curled up behind to kind of pull himself to his feet. He is leaning. It looks like on the he's got like a walking stick or something, and he is just caked in mud, but also blood and grime and maybe some guts, and his hair is all stringy and gross. He does not look like he's
what
well.
happened
Once
after
he
the
stands-
ceremony? What happened to you?
Real quick, as he stands up, though, Davina's gonna roll medicine check just because, she's gotta do something. Just oh look, I'm very busy. I'm checking on his health.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we found the entrance to this chamber a couple days ago, and I don't know. Everyone got really weird after that, and Gratz the dwarf, he started a fight, and well, I think I had to hit him on the head, and then there were monsters, and I hid down here.
You hi, I'm Osgood. It's good to see you. I'm a paladin.
I'm Calidor. I'm a grad student.
Did you
I'm studying archaeology.
Did you hit Grass In the back of the head?
Maybe.
Elf in Elf Temple.
Can you remind me of Osgood of what your kind of detect things over a thing that you've got going all the time is?
It can detect anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet that is not behind cover.
All right, I think that this is relevant. Calidor was kind of holding himself up with, like, it looked at first kind of just from context, like maybe some kind of walking stick or crutch. Whatever this thing that he's leaning on shows up like all kinds of blinking red lights on your paladin sense there, Osgood. I'm gonna say that the closest, I imagine that you get kind of various color radiated auras, right? It's as if the walking stick was undead.
All right,
in your
I am
eyes.
going to mark off another use of divine sense for that, and I'm going
Okay.
to let people know. Caldor, can I see that? Can I see that stick you're holding? Can I hold out my hand?
Calidor like takes this thing that he was kind of leaning him on and like holds it by him. No, why would you ask for that? I need it.
Buffy tries to use the glaive to knock it out of his hands.
That sounds like an attack.
That's what that is.
Hey, you know what? I think we are rolling initiative.
Okay.
But you get to do that first because that's what you wanted to do. Yeah, you did
Is
that.
that just a
so
straight
roll
up glaive attack?
Yeah, roll a straight up glaive attack.
Oh, unfortunately, it's a 9.
It's a 9. Calidor, kind of from a creature that was kind of pathetic and just like barely able to stand moments before, rolls around and knocks your glaive back with this thing that he was holding and kind of keeping under his arm here. And you see, Buffy, that he is holding just like, it appears to be like a leg bone, a femur, that he is suddenly kind of wielding as a club, and he just swats your glaive away with it. I don't know about you all, but Calidor is going to roll it.
Bony.
That's just what Calidor is going to do.
3.
Calidor has rolled a 19.
Wow.
How's everyone else
Calidor's
doing?
19 is wasted as we rolled a 9,
Yes.
4, 3, and 2.
2.
Well, it means
I
Calidor
rolled
gets
a
to go first.
1.
Calidor kind of looks at you all with wild eyes, his long black hair all kind of streaked with blood and grease, and kind of looks at you and just says, "You will be added to the offering. This is not so bad after all." What is Calidor going to do? Calidor is wielding a bone club. I think that Calidor is going to start out. Calidor just raises this bone club femur above his head, and all of you feel like just like aching headaches as kind of madness waves kind of ripple out from this skeletal staff he is holding. He's using Mind Rend. I need each of you to make a DC 14 charisma save.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Nope.
Not Professor Winsome Landy. She's upstairs. She's great.
Is this to avoid being frightened?
No, this is to avoid taking psychic damage.
I got a 17.
I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 15.
All right. It sounds like Osgood succeeded and everyone else failed. Is that correct? No. Oh, other people succeeded?
I succeeded.
You succeeded. Possibly only Davina failed?
No, Buffy and Davina failed.
Buffy and Davina failed. I'm great at counting and listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. You
And
got
being
there
your friend.
eventually. You're
Yeah,
doing
barely.
great, Tony.
It's fine.
Thanks.
It's
Why
fine.
do you always say that when I'm not? You never say when I am doing great. Am I doing great? maybe tomorrow. Buffy and Davina, you each take 7 psychic damage.
Oof.
You see in your mind an image of blood-streaked Calidor chopping up the bodies of the patrons of Havel's Cross as his former grad school colleagues in ghoul form drag corpses down into this filthy basement.
And Buffy's
Ew.
eyes roll into the back of her head, and she collapses.
Oh yeah, short rest. You got bit and didn't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Yep. Well, this will be an exciting end to this adventure. Murdered by a grad student. Opal Grimsby, you're first.
All right. So I'm just going to move a couple feet over. I'm going to point a finger at them, and a beam of crackling blue energy lances out of my hand toward them. And, of course, it's lightning striking them. It's my witch bolt.
Oh,
Which bolt?
how bolt?
That bolt.
What bolt?
Does a 16
Does a witch
hit?
boat have a prow? 16 does hit a decrepit grad student.
All right, so that is 6 points of witch
Prow
bolt
damage.
energy.
6. And which bolt does it does like ongoing? That's its whole thing, right? It hangs around like a.
Yeah, so 6 points of lightning damage. On a hit, they take 1d12 lightning damage. Each of my turns for the next minute, I can use my action to deal 1d12 lightning damage.
you don't have to roll
the
to hit
target
again.
automatically.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Real
it's,
good.
So it's like a witch lightning is hitting him over and over again.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Calidor trembles as the lightning, your witch bolt ripples through him. He seems surprisingly unfazed, as if 6 damage was not a big deal for him, which is
Great.
goes against everything you know about graduate students. If you're interested in buying Tony's version of the Monsters Manual to learn about graduate students and weirdos that Tony talks to on the subway. No, allow me to clear. Weirdos that talk to Tony on the subway. You know? Yes. Roll against eye contact. All right, Opal, great first attack on Calidor. Anything else?
So do I feel like he took the 6 points of damage? It's just
He
that
took
he's
the 6.
very
Sorry.
powerful.
My
Very
flavor was
strong.
intending to suggest that, 6 points would have been a lot of damage to a ghoul, not as much to
Okay.
not all graduate students, but Calidor.
Okay.
So, all right, Osgood, you are right in Calidor's proximity. You see
I
him
will walk
clutching.
around Calidor like this
Mm-hmm.
and reach down to Buffy, keeping my eyes on Calidor, and
Yep.
I'm going to lay on hands for 3 damage. It's not a lot.
Damage. Wait, damage?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Curry
I thought-
favor with the grad student.
I
Yep.
thought Davina was the jerk.
Ouch.
I will heal 3 damage from Buffy, thus waking
Negative
Buffy
3
up.
damage. Thank you.
Now, were you dead? You weren't like in some kind of metaphysical heaven or anything, were you?
This happens to me
Referencing knowledge.
all the time.
All right. I just don't want you to be mopey for a season.
I've been through it all now. I've seen it all. It's fine.
All right.
She's gonna sing next.
Cool. Well, let's go for it. It's the end of my turn.
Oh, okay. Well, good news, Buffy. You are conscious in time for your turn. You are prone because you were unconscious. But yeah.
Buffy stands and says, "Graduate student." Glaive, glaive, glaive.
Glaive, indeed.
Oh, it's a 7. It doesn't go well. She's still a little
Yeah.
woozy from being knocked out.
Yep.
That's it.
All right. Davina, will you use a crossbow? Will you use one of your many magical powers?
Many. But Davina is going to grab her peace sign and shout, "Good vibes only!" Once again. Twilight Sanctuary. Give me that 30-foot radius of dim light. A sphere that's going to grant 1d6 plus 2 temporary hit points. And also end effects, causing to be charmed or frightened at the end of everyone's turn. So that's the end of my turn, and I would like to roll a 1d6 plus 2 to
We
get
do
back some of my...
1d6 plus 2 at the end of every turn.
At the end of every turn.
Okay.
As long as you stay in my party zone.
All right.
I put a circle on you. I mean,
Thank
30
you.
feet covers a decent
Yep.
portion of this basement. You would probably have to work hard to leave to be
Yes.
further than
Leave the
30
party
feet from
zone.
Davina.
So I've now got 5 more hit
Yeah.
points.
Okay.
I'm
Let's see here.
dancing to Buffy's awesome song.
All right. Well, I believe Calidor is next. Is that correct? Have we gone all the way around? Did I skip someone?
Yep. Nope.
That's everyone.
All right. Calidor is looking at you all with wild eyes and just like a kind of manic grin on his face. He points his kind of bone staff that he's been clinging to. He points it at the kind of remains of the body pile over in the center of the room. But it seems like you have cleared sufficient body parts that there's not enough left
Nice.
for him to do what he was seeking to do. I'm just going to remove those corpses from the map. So that having happened, I think he's just going to swing with his bone club at Osgood, who is right at his face. Oh, I have rolled a critical.
Ooh.
Osgood, that would be a 26 to hit you.
I was just to say that I have an outrageously high armor class for a level 2 character, an 18, and I have been hit just about every time.
Every time. Yeah.
Is that like a complaint or just an observation?
That's an observation that I was expecting
All
a
right.
few like 15 to 16 rolls at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
10 bludgeoning damage as Calidor just blangs you on the head. Blangs, that's a word. Blangs you
Totally
on the
right.
head
Yeah.
with his bone club. You're like, your ears are ringing. You feel also like, you just got hit in the head with something dark and sinister and imbued with undeath.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, Tuesday night. It's just that was rude. Just rude. Opal Grimsbane.
Real quick though.
Mind
Oh,
you,
5 hit
one-
points.
Temper hit
Yeah.
points.
5 temporary hit points. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Witch bolt.
Oh yes.
Oh,
More damage.
and that just is
Yeah.
Witch Bolt a free action or a?
It's
an
my action.
It's your
my
action,
ac-
but you don't have to.
I don't have to roll for it. Yep.
Tell me about Witch Bolt damage.
That is 6 points of damage. Just
All right,
rolling sixes on my d12 every time.
which is about average,
Mhm.
yeah. So, all right, I believe that is only the second hit on Calidor so far. So far, only Opal Grimsbane is
All right,
doing
we'll
damage.
just whittle it down, just a little bit
Yep,
at a time.
just remember, Dungeons and Dragons is a team sport, and so far your team is Opal Grimsbane. So,
Just waiting,
also-
waiting for a bunch of ghouls
Opal-
to come get us. Yes.
Everybody who-
You get 6 temporary hit points.
Ooh, nice. Thank you.
and the body removers, they're part of the team.
mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Remember that temporary hit points do not stack, so you can't have more than 6 temporary hit points. If they're temporary hit points.
Yep.
Osgood.
All right. Well, I shake off the pain in my head and
Yep.
look at this jerk and take a deep breath and I attack. That's a natural 20.
Nice.
Yes.
Good
Suck it.
job.
Well, that is the appropriate counter to a 20.
So that'll be 2d8 plus 3. 11 points of damage, please.
Okay. Now we are cooking. Calidor is bloodied with his own blood. He has spent a lot of time bloodied with other people's blood. And he looks suddenly like he's still smiling, but his eyes aren't smiling anymore.
And you get
All
temporary
right.
hit points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Osgood. You will get 6.
Oh, then I will go up from 5, which I had before, to a total of 6.
Huzzah.
Huzzah, indeed. Okay, that's the end of my turn.
All right.
Take him down, Buffy.
Glaive. Another terrible
Glaive, Glaive,
roll. It's a
Glaive.
9. How many temporary hit points do I get?
5.
I'll take them. It's the end of my turn.
Davina.
I am going to use my crossbow. 14.
14 hits a graduate student.
Ooh. Good to know. Taking notes for the future. No particular reason. 6.
Yes,
7.
graduate students. I know you have different armor classes depending on your specialties. This is an elven archaeology graduate student. Save your emails unless you're an elven archaeology graduate student and I misrepresented you. I apologize, Kathy. What was the damage that you did? 7 crossbow bolt damage. You get Calidor like right in the shoulder, and like the crossbow bolt is like sticking in one side and coming out the other, and
Nice.
he looks at you suddenly as if like he was not entirely sure what is going on anymore. I think it is his turn unless someone is going to do something else.
Temporary hit points.
Yep.
All right.
I got the same.
Okay.
Kalidor, I think, is just going to continue to try and focus on Osgood for what good it will do him. Swinging his bone club at you again. Critical fail, bookending my critical success from last turn. So he just swings at Osgood. You are not entirely sure if that attack was aimed at you. Opal Crimson.
I'm down here, jerk.
Yeah, my eyes are down here. Yeah.
All right. Ooh, no. I got a little distracted by him whiffing over Osgood's head. My aim was a little off. Still got him for 2 though.
2 damage. Okay,
Yeah.
he crackles with another little bit of witch bolt cutting through him. Osgood,
6
he does.
is
6
6
temporary hit.
more too many. Or
Thank you.
we got 6.
That's what I had. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
I can't remember.
That's okay. I track it, so you don't have to.
I'll just keep rolling. You know, I roll.
Yeah.
I tell you a number.
That's what you do.
tell me if it matters.
I stand my ground, of course, and I attack him, of course.
Of course.
And I roll an 18.
18 hits.
Nice.
9 points of damage.
Osgood crumples
Nice.
to the ground.
Wait,
Who
what?
does?
Oh, sorry. Kalidor
Man.
crumples to the
There
ground. I'm very sorry.
Quite a
people. This is
twist.
not me at my best. Kalidor, your Osgood, your strike rings true. Kalidor crumples to the ground, still clutching that bone club fiercely with his hands. Buffy,
I kick the club out of his hands.
roll an attack with advantage.
Is that, what am I doing? Is that like an unarmed strike kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you could use your glaive. To,
I'll use, well,
that's
okay, I'll
not
flick
gonna- yeah.
it with the glaive then.
Yeah. I think, you know,
All right.
that's basic safety. Don't touch something that you could glaive instead. Don't, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
good news, everybody. I rolled with advantage and I got a 9.
All right. You
Woo!
try and hit it, and it seems like Kalidor is still holding on to that thing. That seems weird. Davina.
Buffy, would you like 3 hit points?
I still have 5. It's fine.
Yeah, so never mind. All right. We're
We're going to have to cut this jerk's hands off.
Yeah. Can you cut with a mace? I don't think you can.
Mm-mm.
That seems
Not.
I mean,
No. I mean,
is there-
eventually.
I mean, I think in Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not supposed to say no, but like, that seems real hard.
You could
Yeah.
mash it on
And-
the ground.
Yes, and it would actually do much more damage than that. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you know, can you cut with a spoon? Yeah, you could.
All right. Davina's gonna run up and take
Let me ask
her-
you. You probably can't cut hands. You could probably smash
Yeah.
a
yeah.
bone
Smash a
club
bone.
with a mace.
yeah.
Smash a bone.
Yes. Davina is going to smash a bone.
What is the
with
rule?
her
We smash
mace.
bones. No spilled blood, but we
11.
already did that one. So
11.
You rolled 11. I will
You
tell
spilled
you.
blood as soon as we got in here.
it's true.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the oingo boingo.
11 is enough to hit the bone itself. You are targeting the bone club. Kalidor has been clinging to some strange object that he must have found here in the basement of this temple. You hit it with your mace. Roll damage.
6.
All right. You definitely like it's not looking good, and it seems to kind of like spark and kind of fizzle with kind of a weird pale yellow kind of energy seeping out of it. Davina, you done with your turn?
Ew. And yes.
All right. The slumped, fallen graduate student that is Kalidor kind of wrenches himself back up to his feet, but he, despite having hit the ground only seconds before, looks extremely unwell compared to his previous, shall we say, living status. His eyes are kind of just sunken red glowing holes in his skull. His hands have turned into gnarled claws. He's still in one hand, clutches his bone club, and his teeth are just like a jagged field of green knives in a black hole in the center of his face. Those are words I'm using together. It is his turn. He's real angry at all of you. I think he is going to attack Davina because you attacked his club.
Yeah.
So he swings at you with the kind of chipped and cracked and kind of crumbling club. He is going to roll a 7 to hit.
No.
That weird yellow energy continues to kind of seep out of the club, and you feel, all of you would just seeing that yellow light, you feel it kind of touching your eyes is just unpleasant. All of you kind of just wriggle with give me a quick charisma save, DC 14, everybody in the temple. Everybody in the temple say hey.
Hey.
Ooh, crit.
I made it.
Charisma saving throw or
Yeah.
check?
Saving throw,
Okay.
which you're probably better at than checks.
Yeah, I got an 11.
Osgood, you take 7 psychic damage.
Oh,
And
dang.
you know that this club that that Calidor is wielding, you see an image of it being like placed in front of the altar on the other side of the temple back when this was an active place of worship and sacrifice. You see some, not to be judgmental, but real spooky looking elves chanting and worshiping this thing and chanting one name over and over again. The name Dorsane. Yeah, how you doing with that 7 psychic damage? Still conscious?
Well, I've had 6 temporary hit points, so yeah,
Oh.
I'm fine. Thanks.
All right.
Uh,
I think I have totally messed up the initiative. I think it's Opal Grimsbane's turn.
so real quick, I also failed. I only got a 10.
And you all.
Are we all?
all
Because
that
I'm
happens to you
guessing
too,
we
7
all.
damage.
Okay.
So you also take that damage, I guess.
Yep.
Yes.
So I have 4 hit points.
Okay.
Go me.
All right.
Don't forget your temp hit
so-
points.
Oh, it's not my turn. Yeah, that's taking
Oh
10
right.
hit points
right.
away. But I'll get some more next round.
Is the witch bolt still bolting?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
I would say yes. Yep.
Okay.
I think, let me this way. I don't think Calidor is happy with my ruling, but he is not present at the table to argue about that. This is Calidor, but in undead form. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
All right, so that's 5 this time.
All right. The undead form of Calidor kind of wriggles and shakes as a witch bolt continues to just pour current into him. Osgood.
Can I know I don't have disarming strike or anything, that being a totally different thing, but can I attack his hands specifically?
I think that's basically what I allowed both Kathy and Jason to do, I think. So I think so. I think when he is conscious, which he is currently, I would probably say you have disadvantage to do that because it's like you're trying to do a specific thing as opposed to just hitting him.
I like it. I'm attacking with disadvantage.
All right, yeah, that seems reasonable because you're attacking the hand holding the club, right? You're
Yeah.
not just like his other hand really offends you now.
13.
That is what you needed. Osgood, tell me what would that look like?
Well, my rapier is I'm behind my shield, and my rapier darts out the top and just gets in here between 2 knuckles and
a podcast,
forces his
Monty.
hand open.
Okay.
There's
All
a
right,
video
you
component.
Yep. But for people not listening to that video or watching that video, Osgood stabs at the hand expertly with his rapier, jabbing him, and just doing some that does damage, right?
Oh,
Seems like it'd be real hard to stab me in the hand and not do
Probably.
damage. Is my feeling.
It does. It does 11 points of damage, in fact.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. You know what? I think you just like impale his hand, and Osgood drops. Sorry, I keep saying Osgood. Osgood is you. Calidor drops the bone club, the femur of someone named Dorsane. It clatters to the ground. Osgood is clutching at the bloody stump of his hand while also trying to like scramble across the floor and pick up the femur once again. And he really doesn't have enough hands in his current situation to do that. So it's a mess.
Osgood takes 6 points of damage.
I
Temporary?
think you say
You mean
Osgood
gets
heals
6 temporary hit points
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
saying
Yes.
Osgood
That-
takes 6
Yeah.
damage?
Just when
Yes.
it's twist, suddenly everyone's grad students. Yep.
Ta-da!
That second hour of Dungeons and Dragons is where the
Yeah.
magic happens.
All
Where it
right.
all
Yeah.
just starts fitting together. Buffy,
All right,
what will you do?
does Buffy
Calidor is I said the name right this time. Calidor is on the ground. I would say any attacks against him have advantage. The bone femur scepter club is near him. There's like a weird that yellow energy like kind of like a strings of it are going from the club to Calidor as if he is probably attuned to it and still connected to it.
Right. Do I know what kind of undead creature he is, given Buffy's background understanding the undead?
He appears to have joined the ranks of the
He's
ghouls.
just a new ghoul.
He is a new ghoul. He does seem different than other ghouls in that he used magic against you and he's using tools. But he is ghoul-like in his nature.
All right.
It seems like, I mean, the way that he turned into a ghoul was different.
It's
in
different.
that he was not killed by a ghoul unless twist. Osgood's a ghoul.
So
and his sword is just his hand, but it looks like a
So
sword.
would I have any knowledge of, or could I roll for any knowledge of the situation we're in terms of the magical bone and whether it is
give me roll the thing that you're good at.
roll the thing
I think wisdom
that I'm
Wisdom?
good at. Well, I get advantage on intelligence to recall information
Roll
about the
that.
situation. Would this be good?
Didn't I tell you? I told you a bunch about the first school before.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember all of that. And my intelligence here is a 14 roll.
You know that the femur seems to be the femur of Dorsane, the first ghoul, and that Calidor is going to keep coming back from the dead until that femur is destroyed.
And do you know what I say to that? Glaive, glaive, glaive.
Glaive, glaive, glaive.
Glaive!
Music to my
It's
ears.
a crit.
All
Nice.
right.
Nice.
I think that you destroy the femur of Dorsane. Would you like to tell us what that looks like?
Oh, Glaive smashes down, Glaive hitting bone, lightning erupting from Glaive into bone. Bone, we know that what we did with the chicken bone, or sorry, squirrel bone and the mortar and pestle? That kind of happens.
You know how in some movies you see something happening like in slow motion 3 times in a row?
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy
Like
Buffy has been really bad this whole fight, but she's like, I am tired of this crap, and smashes that bone into a bunch of pieces, I imagine.
And as the bone of the femur of Dorsane is shattered by Buffy the Blood Hunter, the yellow magical light within it goes out, and the form of Calidor stops moving, and is at something like rest. We smash cut to a montage as you, I guess, carry Calidor's form out of out of the temple and just bury so many bodies of ghouls, of patrons of Havel's Cross.
Most of this adventure
And-
has been us burying things.
Yeah, so much
yeah.
digging and then covering up again. And of course, the fallen grad students of Professor Winsome Landy.
I'm not saying
Professor
I'm looting
Landy-
the patrons, but I do want to see if they have any identification or anything saying where they lived.
They do not. I don't think they had. They
All
don't
right.
have driver's licenses. I will tell you, the dwarven bodyguard has a jade ring of resistance, which is a relatively basic magic item that Professor Winsome Landy thinks Gratz would have wanted one of you to have it, not just to put it in the earth. And I don't know, maybe I think that might be something that she would hand off to Osgood at the very least to hold on to. But Osgood would be free to hand it off to somebody else later. So the bodies are dealt with. I think it's decided that you're not going to spend a night at the evil elven temple of life and death and rebirth because it's the bad kind of rebirth.
Yeah.
And Professor Winsome Landy says, I think I should take a sabbatical and change jobs to a different field.
So you don't need us to accompany you back to town with whatever thing you wanted from this place?
I suppose the thing they found was, well, that femur you told me about, and you smashed that into a million places.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And it's in that room that can only be accessed with those bowls. Let's bury those bowls.
I was gonna say, let's smash the obsidian bowls. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You smash the bowls and bury their pieces. And thus walk away from this horrible elven temple, hoping that you will never have to deal with it again. Will you get future jobs from Professor Winsome Landy? Unclear. Will you accept those jobs? Extremely unclear. But is this the last we'll ever hear from Buffy, Osgood, Opal Grimsbane, and Davina? I don't know. For answers to questions such as these, tune in to future adventures of Total Party Kill. This has been Horror at Havel's Cross, a second level adventure using D&D 5e basic rules I bought off of DM's Guild. Thank you for listening.